Yeah. Turns out I'm streaming again today. Um, Saw this was on sale. Decided to buy it earlier. Called it. Um, the only thing I know about this game is that it's said to be closest to, well, I don't know if it's closest, but it's pretty close to like capturing Disco Elysium in terms of um, vibe and quality of writing, while also having political themes in it. So I don't know anything about this game other than, or rather, I feel like saying I don't know anything but and listing off a bunch of things. I don't know, so weird. What I do know about this game, rather, is that it's like a, I don't know if to call it like a political sim, but you play a president of like a newly liberated country or something like that, and you're trying to bring like, or I guess you're just trying to make it a better place, while experiencing all the difficulties that being a politician tends to bring, especially the leader, the head of state. From people trying to sabotage you to the people not wanting what's best for them, which is of course very close to reality. What a charged topic this month, huh? Yeah. What an interesting topic. I do like that this is like a fake world. This is like this is not a real world. I don't know of any countries by the name of Swordland, Vogsland, Lesbia, Wayland, Agard, Dirtia, Rizia, Morella, etc. Rumburg, Magnolia, Baronies of Sordis, Orcanis. So this looks cool. I do like that it is fake. Look at this. There's like Saint Mala, Saint Ara. All these like some kind of cities. War. Alright, let's get into it. New game. Enter game name. Fucking sheep. Resident sheep. Republic of Swordland, main story. Presidential Republic, 37 million. Economy in recession. Great. Regional influence, major power starting date 1954. Anton Rain has been elected the fourth president of Swordland amidst a deep recession, demands for reform, and external pressure. What the hell's torpor mode? Disables manual saving and enables achievements. You can only turn it off after completing the story once. So I don't care about achievements, so go. I also have the DLC, because it came with the pack. It was only like $12. Probably, you know, worth buying. I hear nothing but good things about this game. You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like a raw summer night. You are my country by Nazim Hikmet Ran. Is that a real quote, or is this like in-universe poem? 1908, Kingdom of Swordland. Fix my mic. You opened your eyes to this world. You came from wealthy family in the city of Lackhaven. A middle-income family in the city of Holsword. An impoverished family in the city of Dare. Or Dire. What do I want to be? Do I want to be rich, middle class, or poor? Let's be poor. Well, yeah, I don't know, man. Let's just be poor. Fuck it. We're gonna bring communism to this country. You know what? I did communism playthrough in Disco Elysium earlier this year, so maybe I'll do communism playthrough here too, if that's even a thing. I don't even know if communism's a thing in this game. An impoverished family in the city of Dare, sure. Your parents named you Anton as the only child of a farmer. You spent your childhood among wheat fields. Life was not easy. You were too poor to afford a good education. The Rain family was caring regardless of the economically dire situation. Your parents always did their best to support you. The years passed. Look at us on this fucking dust bowl ass farmstead. 1923. I'm 15 years old. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside, and everyone tried to figure out what was going on. The principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Swordland was born. The only home you've ever known. Yeah, I feel like, sure, I don't know what the fuck's going on. The revolution. Is that a thing they just announce on, like... Usually, people don't realize the times that they're living in. So you can't really make announcements where it's like, we are in the Great Revolution. Well, you know, you drink the Kool-Aid enough on something, you see something happen as tumultuous as a revolution breaking out in your country, I guess that would be a good sign that you are living in historic times. So I guess we are always living in historic times, whether you notice it or not. 1926. Well, 3 years later, after graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. Even though your family is poor, the public education system made it possible to go to university. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You chose law at the Whole Sword State University, economics at the Lockhaven Business School, history at the Dare University of Culture. So this is in the middle class city. This is in the upper class city. And this is in my university. Wait, Whole Sword State University, economics at the Lockhaven Business School, history at the Dare University of Culture. I'm a humanities person. I was a humanities major. I have a language degree. I have a fucking BA in Japanese. Kek W. I know. Trust me, I know. So fuck it. Let's go with history. During the first year, you attended a lecture with David Whiskey, your teacher and mentor from university. The son of the first president of Swordland, the revolutionary Arthur S. Whiskey. He was a well-known diplomat from the foreign ministry and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why real politics is important for a successful foreign policy. I don't know what real politic is. I've heard it before. I've never bothered to look it up. He argued that a strategy based on practical and material factors would be much more successful in reaching Swordland's ambitions. I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree in principle. 4 years later, or 2 years later, soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering in protest. Along with your best friend Peter Vectern, you decided to protest with the students. One of the officers made a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Lutheran declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You joined the students that slowly marched towards the large group of soldiers. Lutheran, the nationalist general who led a military coup and declared martial law in 1927. So there was a kingdom. The king was, overthrown. And then we got a republic. And then a nationalist general led a coup to reinstate the king. Okay. Suddenly the soldiers charged. The student fell and was trampled as everybody started away. Nah, we holding our ground. The soldiers beat you relentlessly. It was a gloomy year. The coup split the students into two groups and caused frequent fights. Torture and imprisonment of any opposing voice became a daily routine in Dare, the second largest city in Swordland. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join. I don't know, man. Human rights group, student council, political debate. Political debate group, that sounds fucking lame. Student council, sure. Human rights group. I mean, fuck it, human rights group. I don't know, man. I'm kind of just picking the things I would be interested in IRL. I gave a shit about any of this stuff enough to do anything about it. The group heavily protested against the deteriorating human rights situation in Swordland. You contributed in thorough discussions on how to protect and expand freedoms. In one of the meetings, Peter Vectern, your best friend, introduced you to a classmate of his, Monica. Love of your life. You were immediately attracted to I mean, I like intelligent women, I guess. She mentioned to you that she was a volunteer for the Swordish League of Women, an organization campaigning for women's rights. You... I mean, yeah, I consider myself a feminist. Not really a thing I think about consciously. It's like, yeah, fuck it. Sure. Like, why wouldn't I? Politically charged environment led you to... fuck nationalists. They fuck being a centrist. We're joining the red youth. We are socialists. The radio relayed that the communist general Rickard, communist general who led an attack in 1928 against General Luderin's military coup. General Luderin and his troops demanding to surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. Sorlin plunged into chaos. Rickard's sudden attack caused more instability in the country, but compared to fascist Luderin, he was a real socialist. He's convinced you to participate in a support march. You were chanting. I mean, I'm assuming setting up my character for the, like, building my character for the actual game. Like, this is going to give me, like, I don't know, like bonuses or something. Bonuses or detriments or, like, change different things about the state of the world. I mean, I agree with all three of these things. I mean, fuck it, workers, bro. We were marching under the protection of Rickard's soldier. Students supporting Luderin's coup gathered a few hundred meters in front of you. Many nationalists were among them. You knew something was going to happen. I stayed, dude. There's a massive clash between the two sides. Soldiers began to beat the students. Tanks started rolling forward. In this chaotic moment, you saw a young girl about to get run over by a tank. Ran to save her. Sure, let's be a good person. But you couldn't reach her in time. You never forgot her face. Damn, getting run over by a tank is fucking insane. Clashes escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. The chaos had to end. The charismatic Colonel Tarkin Sol orchestrated a sudden attack on the capital where the Luderinist and Ricardist forces were where the Luderinist and the Ricardist forces were battling each other. He defeated both, ending the war. President of Sordland and the famous colonel who re-established the republic in 1929. Okay. New constitution was written and the military government began efforts to restore stability. Many people saw the colonel as a savior. He formed the United Sordland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever single party elections. I didn't vote. It's a single party election. It didn't fucking matter. Established in 1920 by Colonel Tarkin. So the United Sordland Party is the governing party in Sordland. So these are like the fucking centrists. Won the election by a large majority. The military government announced a 4-year restoration period to transform to an entirely civilian government. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica. You were both interested in marrying and starting a family. However, a letter arrived in the military calling for you to fulfill your compulsory service. Time to serve your national duty. February, Bergia region. Devastating civil war from neighboring Wayland quickly turned into a proxy war between regional and world powers. Distinguished Major Josef Lancia ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was a very cold winter night when you began marching out of Gumrun Outpost. The Republic of Wayland is a young and fragile republic located in southeast Marcopa. Famous commanding officer from the Swordish Armed Forces who you served under. You can see your breath. Hold out. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source, so the squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. You let them slip through. After the patrol, Major Lancia arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you disappointment. One of your squad members had reported your actions. After several months of scrubbing the floors as a punishment, your duties ended and you went back to civilian life. I mean, man, I don't really give a shit about the military. You and Monica decided to share your lives together after receiving the blessing of her parents. The ceremony was held in Wholesword, capital. In the same year, you worked hard to secure a high-paying job within the governing United Sordland Party. I can't fucking read today. It was much more difficult to start your career on a good foot because of the refugee incident, but you still managed. Doesn't matter, I'm gonna be president. I already know I am. I mean, it was the best opportunity to change the country for the better. I'm not really like a power person. And to be honest, I don't really give a shit about money. He became the foreign policy assistant to one of the more experienced members of Assembly. You worked long and hard reviewing dozens of foreign policy plans late into the night. You were climbing the ladder. Tarkin Sol gave amnesty to the remaining factions of the Civil War and chose de-escalation and appeasement. The institutions and symbols of the former kingdom were slowly replaced. His government launched several new initiatives, such as a citizen-funded bills program to revitalize the economy, a social labor initiative to help rebuild and improve society, and a large dam project to solve the energy crisis. The first multi-party elections in the history of Sorlin were held. President Tarkin Sol was elected once more. Okay. Preparation of a comprehensive trade agreement with Agnolia was occupying most of your personal time, but your significant contribution to the trade talks triggered an invitation to meet President Tarkin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of Assembly. I accepted with doubts, because being important is scary. As the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle. You needed allies, so you brought on Peter Vectorn as your right-hand man. The birth of your son, Frank, provided a brief moment of joy and relief. You... I don't know, man. Let's just be a good family, man. I'm just fucking myself. I'm making myself horrible in the eyes of any, like, person who cares about politics. In your absence, Peter Vectorn found trustworthy contracts and strengthened your position in the party. At the same time, he's gonna overthrow me later in the game. At the same time, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the USP. The cracks began to show. See? Can't trust these motherfuckers. President Sol barely secured a majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the next year, the Swordish people grew increasingly discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Economic growth was slowing down. Meanwhile, calls for a united Swordland Party Congress became louder as leadership struggle started to brew. You join the internal opposition. You give your support to Ewald Alfonso, a reformist and talented business magnate who was the main contender for party leadership. Okay, meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before the Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one, but he didn't approach you. The Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United Sorlin Party were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for the party leadership began. I mean, it's Alfonso. Fuck it. The efforts bore fruit as the contentious leadership vote was won by Ewald Alfonso. During the Congress, Tarkin Sol announced he would retire from politics at the end of his term and appointed Alfonso as vice president. He knew the structure he had established was to stay, the country became increasingly authoritarian. I mean, sounds like he should have been gone the last time. A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Diana. She motivated you during a tumultuous period in the party. As the VP and the leader of the USP, Ewald Alfonso began dismantling the old organizations and structures established by the USP, such as the State Educators Corps and the Swordish State Corporation Bills. What the fuck are those? State Educators Corps, like state mandated teachers, like party elected teachers, or like the state was funding teachers. And the Swordish State Corporation Bills. They're like deregulate. Is that like a regulation, like a nationalization thing? I mean, it makes sense that he would fucking hate this shit. I mean, he's a reformist. But he would also be a reformist trying to make things like... I'm thinking about this so much. The general elections were approaching. The United Southern Party was under leadership. I don't know what these things mean. Okay, I'll make them blue. Let me hover over them to see what the fuck's going on. Sure, join the party effort and campaign for him. Make everybody hate me. Just did your best not to help him. I mean, it sounds like this guy campaigned on just not being not being the other guy. But also, the old organizations were authoritarian in nature. These don't sound authoritarian. State Educators Corps, I mean, they could be. Swordish State Corporation Bills. Fuck it, we voted for him. I'd go back and change it. I don't think I can. Oh god. Okay. During the general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary. It's Bill fucking Clinton, man. And Monica Lewinsky. He was replaced by the more popular figure of Franz Richter, but the damage had been done. A new and popular figure from the People's Freedom and Justice Party who currently serves as its leader. The new economic policies and the extensive privatization program proposed. God fucking damn it, I knew it. I fucking knew it. This dude was reforming the authoritarian party so that way he could fucking get his businesses deregulated. Probably. He's like, oh, I don't like the state owning my shit. Me and my guys need a new Mercedes or whatever the hell you call it in this. Propose securing an election victory over the following years. Yeah. Oh Jesus. The presidency of Alfonso saw many bold reforms in government and law and advancements in liberal democratic values. He valued your support throughout. Yeah, we're just trying to make sense of the situation. However, due to infighting and disorganization, continental economic tensions, and fast-track privatization, it was followed by severe economic recession. Who could have seen this coming? The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair election system hampered opposition efforts to campaign. I mean, I'm worried about the recession, to be honest. I don't really give a shit about the party. With Peter's help, your presence in the USP grew. The two of you worked long nights together. He flipped opponents to your side. You became the face of a new wing of the party. Step by step, and with adequate planning, your wing took over the leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment had come. The moment to make a move had come. You blamed him on TV, bribed and extorted his inner circle, advised him to step down. This is the nuclear option. This is the. I mean, that's the nuclear option. These are like kind of just. I mean, do I really want to just blame the fucking president on TV? He's already gonna step down. I mean, I know he's going to step down. Yeah, fuck it. We advised him to step down. He listened to your advice. Alfonso conceded the leadership struggle, and the party eventually voted you in because of your indisputable influence. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president in the general election. With Peter as your running mate, it was your turn. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms. The people are tired of empty promises. We need fundamental change in our institutions and government. A solid and transparent democracy awaits us. Brothers and sisters, a new constitution and a new age is upon us. The broadcast ended. We're writing a whole new fucking constitution. This is... Oh my god, on election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It was time to face the truth. Chapter 1, President Reign. Character customization. Oh, I can change what my character looks like. I'm surprised there's even customization in this game. Oh god, please not clean shaven. Bogslandian, Markian, Revolutionary, Millennialist, Maroon suit, Swordland first, tuxedo, grand, white suit, default, background, office, tan, gold, green, red, okay. I like black glasses. That's pretty cool. Let's be stylish. He looks like Mao. Be grand. I like The Office. Gentlemen. Maybe we didn't need different facial hair. Looks like fucking. Looks like I can't remember, but the Russian guy who killed all those people. It doesn't narrow it down much, but comrade. I feel like this is fine. Yeah, fuck it. All right. Election campaign promises. As Anton Rain, you have made consequential promises to the people of Swordland to gain their votes in the 1953 election campaign. Consider these commitments carefully. Excuse me. After the recent market reforms and the recession, the country finds itself stuck between two different economic systems with indecision and turbulence causing the population to demand a direction. Are you going to tell me what either of these things are? Codex. Is there like an economy thing here? History. Organizations. Oh, fucking. Oh my god. See, this is why I never became a fucking politician. Well, one of the reasons. I think the biggest reason is I'm a fucking moron, and you definitely don't want me to be a politician. Characters, history, ideologies are Cassian capitalism, immediatism, lesbian protectionism, millenniavism, maximism, miraclism, Rizian monarchism, solism, Bogslandian socialism. There's many isms on here. Important events, the 15-day war. Damn, I love when world building has like all these fucking like crazy like fake historical event, like 15-day war, annexation of Dome, Great Fire of Conriat, Dissension Day, Century of Revolutions. That's sick. Misc History, KA-74. I wonder what that is. Calsington Automatica. National Autarky Plan? Yeah, man, let's be an autark. That's a good idea. Religion, nerdy. Das nerdy, Golkondism, Zaranism, Zara nerdy, timeline. Oh my god. Oh my god. Overview. Oh my god. Gendarmerie under defense. Oh my god. Ugh. Let's do a planned economy. Diplomatic leading. The global rivalries between capitalist Arcasia in Arcasia. I'm gonna say Arcasia. Arcasia in the west, the monarchy of Rumburg to the north, and the communist United Contana in the east are intensifying. Nordland has the potential to align with others in neutral. Let's be communist. Fuck it. We are the curtain. We are the Iron Curtain. Immigration policy. In the last 5 years, Blutish, Wesek, and Agnolian immigrants flocked to Swordland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by former President Ewald Alfonso. As a result, these tensions are causing requests for a political solution. Dude, don't ask me about immigration. But I am the president, so I can't just say, do something about it and have other people do it. Very topical. I don't know, man. I'm sure all of these have consequences. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, look at that growth. We only have $8 to our budget. Hmm. Inspector, Chief of Staff, Defense Minister. I fucking hates me. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what I would do IRL. I don't know, man. Let's just fucking fuck it. Let's just keep it talking. Oh, fuck. But term focus. The once praised public education system of the nation has suffered significant setbacks in the last decade. The lack of new schools, high student-to-teacher ratios, low teacher salaries, and even a lack of classroom equipment in certain parts of the country cause massive divergencies in the public education system. True and real. Defense! The Swedish Armed Forces were the nation's most funded branch until the Alfonso government reduced the defense budget significantly. With the increase of saber-rattling threats looming in the north by Rumberg and a growing presence of the superpowers in the region, the critical deterrence of the SAF matters more than ever. Law enforcement. Don't really give a shit about this. The recently culminating political tension between the different youth groups and socioeconomic pressures between multiple classes of society is increasing the issues of the law enforcement systems. Police need help keeping up with increased crime rates. Simultaneously, judges and courts deal with an enormous growing backlog of legal cases. Health. Swordland's health system and healthcare quality have stagnated due to administrative inefficiencies, increased service demand, and an increasing divide in service quality between urban and rural hospitals. The average life expectancy has dropped significantly, with issues such as maternity deaths and disease outbreaks. Education. Let's get long-term here. Am I sure about my decisions? No. Absolutely not. We roll forward. 2 weeks have passed since we won the election. And now I was about to be sworn in as the 4th president of Swordland. Thousands were watching the inauguration ceremony and cheering my name, Anton Rain. The die was cast. The die was cast, and there my story began. In the distance, the Maroon Palace stood on top of the famous Hill of Pride. I had no way of knowing what future awaited me there. Maroon Palace. Oh my god, I pulled up a whole thing. Maroon Palace is where the executive branch of the Swedish government is situated. It was constructed to serve as the summer residence of Albrecht Renin, but quickly became a structure of political importance. The turning point was when the Kingdom of Swordland was announced from the balcony of the palace, reflecting the shift of government power from Erlery to Holsword. During the transition period, the Maroon Palace received its name from the maroon painted exterior walls. It has 100 rooms and several wings, housing different branches of executive government. Underneath the structure is a highly secure situation room where the president is safe from any danger and evaluates any security crises. Hill of Pride. Hill of Pride. Oh, hey, it's like the, I think, Iwo Jima photo. It was named during the Declaration of the Kingdom of Swordland, when thousands of countrymen started proudly singing the new anthem of Swordland. It is located at the center of Holsword, in between the most important government structures like the Maroon Palace, Supreme Court, the Grand National Assembly, and the Ministry of Interior. Hill of Pride is inside the large Capitol Park. It gives the Holswordians a chance to relax from the city stress with free time activities in nature. The hill has great symbolic importance because of the Declaration of the Kingdom and the Republic which took place on top of it during the last century. I looked at my family. My son and daughter, Frank and Diana, were next to Monica, my wife. Their eyes were glimmering with pride. Frank Rain is the son of Anton Rain and Monica Rain. He's currently studying at the Holsword Markian High School. Diana Rain is the daughter of Anton Rain and Monica Rain. She is attending elementary school in Holsword. Brief interview, Monica Rain said that she was named after her grandmother who came in the 1860s to Swordland from Magnolia with hopes to start a new life. What my wife looked like. Monica Rain is the current First Lady of Swordland. She was born in Lockhaven to parents with Agno-Swordish background. She has a degree in sociology and has worked as a social worker and later as a partnerships manager in Magnus Cartus and campaign assistant of the Swordish League of Women before her marriage to Anton Rain. What a shitty logo. You guys need to work on your fucking marketing. Then I turned towards the key people who made it all possible. Of course, each individual is promised an important position in my government. I saw my previous rival and former President Ewell Alfonso, who gave me a slight nod. Tarkin Solo was also invited, but as expected, he didn't leave his island retreat. Oh, that's so long, I'm not gonna read it. Oh, that's also so long, I'm not gonna read it. My thoughts slowly faded away. The reality of the situation dawned on me. Orso Hawker, the Chief of Justice of the Supreme Court, was waiting for me. Supreme Court. Conseil de Supreme Swordland. The time for the oath has come. It has indeed. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will respectfully execute the office of the President of Swordland, and to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend. And to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend people in the Constitution of the Republic of Swordland. May I deliver your inauguration speech, Mr. President? Let's begin. Fuck good, let's begin. Fucking brothers and sisters. The crowd looked very eager to listen to me. Change and hope. You, the people, have chosen. Together we will bring prosperity and reform to our nation. It is a time of hope. It is a time of change. We stand together. In the past, there have been times of survival, times of conflict and economic hardship too, but whenever we stood together, we prevailed. Okay. Yeah, let's just be safe. You know, I promise we will stop the recession and eliminate poverty. You know, let's not go broad sweep and build the Iron Curtain right now to everybody. You know, we build it up slowly. Let's also not talk shit about our Constitution and have them lose faith in the government even more than they already have. Our capacity as a nation has never been greater. Hundreds of thousands cheered. They were shouting my name in unison. I felt the responsibility, the power, and the burden all at the same time. Just enjoy the moment. Fuck it. A long look at the people swore them to burn this moment into my memory. One of the presidential guards came by to notify me that it was time to leave. I made my way to the leading car in the motorcade. The presidential state car was a jet black Cadilla with flags. Oh, see, there we go. Not Mercedes, a Cadilla. Or Cadilla. Flags of Swordland above their front headlights. Next to it, a man was holding the door. Sergei Volkaner. Hello, Mr. President. This is my homie. I hope he doesn't shoot me in the back of the head after getting paid off. I still felt euphoric from the aftermath of my speech. Hearing my new title made me smile even more. You'll allow me to introduce myself. I'm Sergei, your new boot driver. Nice to meet you. An honor. He respectfully bowed his head before opening the car door and gesturing inside. I entered the car. We'll be heading towards the palace. The motorcade began to move. On the way, Sergei proceeded to explain his duties as a driver. As minutes passed by, I found myself lost in thought again. Barely paying attention to what he was saying, he suddenly gestured out the window. Isn't it a beauty, the Maroon Palace? He was right. Sunlight glinted off the palace's many maroon-colored domes. It was so bright that I had to look away. Every time I look at it, I am reminded of my duty to this nation. But so do I, Sergei. It is the beating heart of the nation, after all. Well said, Mr. President. The car drove past the majestic gates, continued uphill to the entrance, and stopped in front of the doors. Sergei got out of the car and opened the door for me. Have a great day, Mr. President. Amornia? Amorgna or Amornia? Amornia Westgor. He referred to the famous Swordfish phrase from the times of the Revolution, Amornia Westgor, Vectarn Sista, which meant morning will come, victory is close. Vectarn Sista. I made my way upstairs through the extravagant corridors of the palace. Marble and engraved wooden finishes decorated the interior. My footsteps echoed in the colossal halls. The guards bowed their heads in respect as I opened the massive doors to my new office. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, there's so much news. The whole sword post. Campaign bill. Fair representation in the Assembly. The long-stalled campaign bill has once again taken center stage in the Grand National Assembly. Conceal Altimer. Elder Scrolls. First proposed during the Alfonso presidency has been put on hold due to the 1950 election, but has now been resurrected under President Anton Reign. Proposed amendments ensure a more proportional allocation of public funds, more accurately reflecting a party's influence within the legislative body. I spoke of change. Okay. Portland today. Won his office by the Chief Justice, another great win. 37% of the general vote. First, congratulations came from Kisaro Kibiner, the National Front Party. Nationalist, ultra-conservative, second biggest opposition party. Ethnic nationalist political agenda with aggressive and threatening campaigns throughout the 30s. Oh, no, get him away from me. Get him out. Stalin, that's what I was thinking of earlier. I was thinking of that Russian guy who killed a lot of people. Which finished third in the electoral race and entered the assembly. The runner-up of the general vote, the PFJP, didn't concede until the last minute, but the results were clear since several hours in. People's Freedom and Justice Party, why is it like Twitter? Political party is something which is promoted both liberalism and social democracy in the country. Is led by Franz Richter and is currently in the main. Okay. Against the government, Tarkin Soul, center left. Very similar society for middle to upper class. Okay, unless an expanding rift between its leadership and the broader leftist space, particularly the bloodish constituents who lean left, along with Franz Richter's advocacy for market liberalization, has prompted a gradual realignment of the party towards the political center. Gross. They represent the reformist faction of the Grand National Assembly, advocating for a more democratic constitution. The party opposes the constitution written by Tarkin Soul and deems it undemocratic. They are seen as the alternative to the USP and have been a major force in Swedish politics since its first election. PFJP has been steadily increasing its popularity among the Swedish public who are unhappy with their current situation. The hell are we? Modern Democratic Party was faithful to the founding principles and okay, I don't give a shit about nationalism. Foundational principles of soulism, republicanism, nationalism, and statism. Oh my god. Organizes unchangeable and sacrosanct. Oh, okay. Economists and Solonomics. Our top economic analysts, which, with consultation from the National Business Council, have released a comprehensive report on the performance of the past 20 years. A certain section of the report stands out. The last two 4-year plans of the plan doctrine created a budget deficit and a clear reduction of the industrial production output. This was specifically due to a mismanagement and inefficient bureaucracy. Year-on-year growth, budget balance, and production index values indicate that the two most productive consecutive years had been when the privatization program of Alfonso began in 1949. Our editorial team, with the help of experts like Mikhail Avin and Edith Agnock, have come to the conclusion that the recession was not actually caused by Alfonsonomics, but by the drastic obstructions of state executives hindering the plan. Somehow that doesn't sound right, but you know, whatever. President Reign must take the advice of planned economy proponents around him with a pinch of salt. Otherwise, he could find himself in the same spot as Tarkin. I think I'm gonna pass on the people who write about economy shit all day. Restructure the infrastructure. After the recent successful mega infrastructure projects from United Contana and Vogsland, the world is warming up to the idea the source of growth and employment. But is there any truth to success? Our investment analysis indicates that infrastructure investments can be fruitful in the short term, but even more so in the long term, especially if they focus on linking economic nodes that business logistics depend on. Like cities. If we link the cities together, business flows better. This is, however, the first step. The crux of the matter is diversification of investment where the government supports employment and growth. It is key to help private businesses with government contracts, tax breaks, and political support. Oh, shut the fuck up. Get me out of here. Lockhaven Times, New Assembly begins duty. President Anton Rain has been elected. Okay. 37%. Okay. Sarah Kibner, the right-wing national. Okay. 11%. That's too high. Communist Party of Sordland and the Workers' Party of Bludia both won just below 10% of the vote, failing to pass the 10% election threshold. That's a damn shame. If only the two leftist parties worked together, they would have had 20%. The new term, I guess that's probably intentional. The new term begins with the opposition of PF, JP, and NFP under the USP government. Some fucking acronyms. You know, I was trying to read last month, or like the month, like September or something like that. I was trying to read George Orwell's Ode to Catalonia, which was when he like a memoir of his time fighting for the leftists, for the communists, as I guess he would have said, in during the Spanish Civil War in like the 30s. And there's like a chapter where he literally says, if you don't care about like the internal politics of the situation, just skip this and head to the next part. It was so long. It was so many paragraphs with so many different acronyms for different parties that were supposedly united against the fascists. And my eyes just glazed over, and that's kind of happening here. 130, 70, 40. Oh my god. Radical. Voice of the unheard. Another USP president. How many times will people fall for the same trap? We've seen this before with Colonel Sol, whose ability saved this country and brought stability in times of chaos. His stability, however, meant a life of oppression. Any opposing voices were silenced, and many were persecuted. Next was Alfonso, who was elected as the liberal reformer to bring change to the USP in Switzerland. Seeing his unfortunate inability, his own cabinet resigned. As the third USP candidate becomes the president, it's high time to realize that real change won't come from their party. Yeah, probably. Nothing from Geopolitico. Oh. PR. Whole world. This is the immediate area, huh? Right. Congratulations from the... I'll read this stuff in a second. Whole Sword, Greater Whole Sword region. Capital, Industrial Center. Mayor. Logistical issues. Briefing on the current political situation. Peter Vectorn arrived a couple minutes early and sat across from me. He was struggling to hold back his smile. That's my guy, man. We did it, Anton. We won. Finally, all those years with our noses to the grindstone paid off. Peter's eyes sparkled. The strain of the past months had put a damper on his usual rakish charm, but today he was looking and acting more like his old self. He loosened his tie and undid the top two buttons of his shirt. Enjoying the new secretary I picked out for you? Thought you'd appreciate her gorgeous set of talents. It's a shame the rest of your staff aren't as easy on the eyes. He gestured to the slight paunch that protruded over his waistband. But hey, back in university, did you ever imagine we would be sitting here in the Maroon Palace? We'd have to celebrate this great victory. This is just an early maroon 30-year-old. Hang in there until the evening. I feel like getting drunk on the first day is kind of fucked up. Alright, fuck it. Let's celebrate with the boy. Burglary. Full Sword region. Former capital. Okay, whatever. Poured it in 2 glasses, prepared. The sweet smell filled the room immediately. The 1924, that was my freshman year, also the year after the revolution. Very difficult times, to be honest, but this smells like heaven. Future awaits, Peter. Toast. I raised my glass and toasted with Peter before smelling the whiskey and taking a sip. The sweet vanilla tone combined with an oaky taste developed into a lingering smokiness. I love whiskey. Peter really seemed to be enjoying himself. What a taste. This is how we should start all meetings, Anton. You wouldn't get much done, or the last administration. Yeah, but we are different, and all they did was enjoy the privilege. We can't make the same mistakes again. We learned from it all. Did we? Sure do hope so. Door swung open. Lucien Galade, my chief strategist, walked in. He was a compact man with sharp bird-like features. After briefly surveying the room from wall to wall, he sat down, poured a glass of water, and opened his briefcase in a series of quick, graceful movements. Gentlemen. The tall case clock in the room struck 3 o'clock. Damn, you are exactly on time. Hello, Peter. Lucien then turned towards me. He very slightly bowed his head. Glad to see you, Lucien. It was a privilege to be here, sir. Lucien spoke in soft, clipped tones that immediately drew your attention towards what he had to say. Peter and I waited for him to proceed. Let's start by evaluating our current situation. The majority of the Swordfish people demand change. They are more concerned about the economy than their constitution, but they blame the system for their problems. People are losing their trust in our democracy. Why do you think radicals like Bernard Circus are becoming more popular? Everyone's expecting us to bring the change the last government did not. Who the fuck is this guy? Poet, novelist, short story writer, and communist politician. He is acclaimed for his lyrical flow and was regarded to be the leader of the Swordfish avant-garde. His early writings were heavily influenced by the social, cultural, and economic problems of his home city of Terre. His work earned him the description of a romantic communist. He joined the Red Youth during the Swordfish Civil War and fled Swordland after the war was over, surviving the purge of Tark and Seoul. Wow, there was a purge. He moved to United Kontana and studied sociology at the Communist University of Kyo. There he was influenced by the artistic experiments of continent poets who had advocated futurism as well as the ideological vision of Maleniev. His literary works are widely regarded as seminal contributions to Swordfish literature and have garnered numerous international accolades. He was the second individual from Swordland to receive the prestigious Volpitzer Award in 1948, following Hermann Equa. Due to his political views, however, his works have been subject to a ban in Swordland since 1930. In 1950, Bernard returned to Swordland following the departure of Tark and Seoul. He organized strikes against Swordfish government's failure to include amnesty laws and started to become a popular figure in Swordfish politics. He ran as an independent in the 1950s. Okay. Became the first communist to be elected to the assembly. Okay, well, he doesn't sound like a horrible person, so fuck it. Franz Richter, leader of the reformers, believed that true change can only be accomplished by transferring some of our powers to the assembly. I will move to the details of their demands. Wait, what? These guys are the fucking libs, right? I agree with the reformers are supposed to democratize. We need to listen to the people if we want to. Okay, we need to listen to the people, bro. That's exactly what we campaigned for. True change that will move the country forward. We will need many allies against the old guard. In the political lexicon of Swordland, the old guard is a term used to denote a purported group of influential individuals within the government. The nature and influence of this... Okay, so the fucking Illuminati? Considerable debate and speculation. The concept of the old guard is often associated with theories of a deep... I was joking. A hidden network, a deep state, a hidden network of power said to exert control over the state apparatus. This clandestine web of influence is rumored to permeate key organizations within the government, effectively shaping policy and decision-making from behind the scenes. Critics, however, dismiss such notions as urban myths, challenging the existence of such a widespread and influential entity. It's widely speculated that the old guard took root during the Seoul era, functioning as a security mechanism to maintain control and stability within the government. However, the shroud of secrecy remains intact. There have been no public admissions or definitive evidence to confirm the identities of its alleged members. This enduring ambiguity ensures the old guard remains the subject of intrigue, conjecture, and controversy within Swordland's political landscape. Fucking lolly lule low. Against the old guard and the government. Well, if this guy's saying it, then they're fucking real. Mr. Richter managed to persuade many members of Assembly to give their support for drafting a new constitution. Reformist politicians are quickly increasing in number. While the reformist wing inside our party is still a minority, they could have a tripartisan majority in the Assembly, especially if they unite under Franz Richter. To read his fucking bio again. He's got a conflict of interest. He owns a fucking construction company. Maybe he doesn't own it, but he's got like he's a major shareholder. He's a fucking economist who Watchtower of Human Rights. What? This is the fucking UN? The Alliance of Nations. OMEC. You mean OPEC, right? Service and industrial companies. This guy just a fucking Arcasian plant? Is that what's happening here? Known as a noble human rights advocate. I mean, that's pretty cool. Promoted economic liberalism. Doesn't sound like a bad guy, but kept his stance on him, and once it was called him a puppet of the deep state. He's in the privatization. Oh, fuck this guy, bro. What? Aren't wrong to agree that we need change, but we should be in charge. I mean, yeah, this is kind of where I'm at. Can't really take the spotlight on this. The reformist demands are clear. They want to limit the president's veto powers, ensure that the Supreme Court is independent, and take away the court's right to vote on constitutional amendments. I mean, how does this work? Is this like the U.S. one? Serve for life? Functions as the Supreme Criminal Court to hear any cases raised about... Well, okay, there's a right to review enactments both before and after review, and it can invalidate whole laws or government decrees and prevent their application in future cases. The Supreme Court also functions as the second legislative body when a proposal to change the Constitution is further passes the Grand National Assembly will give them the final vote on constitutional changes. It is currently led by the Chief Justice Orso Hawker. Okay, but it doesn't tell me anything about, like... Can we stack the courts? Is that a thing? Hold their office during behavior. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I don't... What? Ensure the Supreme Court is independent and take away the court... Wait. Limit the president's veto powers. I mean, that makes sense. Kind of. Ensure that the Supreme Court is independent and take away the court's right to vote on constitutional amendments. Okay. Oh. It's the first fucking day. Does the president actually do anything on the first day when they get elected? When they get sworn in? Tell me he doesn't just kick back for a day and just, you know, like, we'll do this tomorrow, right? I guess there's a national crisis right now with the economy, but like, what the fuck is going on here? Oh. When does this game end, by the way? Like, when I just lose the election? When I get assassinated? Is there like, are there even like traditional win and lose conditions? Oh my god. Oh, I mean, yeah, we need a proper balance of power in this country. I'm not gonna say I fucking support. I mean, these are like, why can't there just be like, yeah, I mean, they're kind of right. I support them. I agree, we can't ignore the winds of change after all. The old guard will do its best to preserve the Constitution. Chief Justice Hawker and his allied judges have a great influence over the Supreme Court, which will be tough to break. What's this guy's problem, huh? He's old as fuck, that's for sure. He had close ties with Saul. After the death, first Chief Justice Gregor Marcia elected in 37. He's been here for 16 years. Hawker Court handed down several landmark rulings that significantly transformed criminal procedures, taxes, and other areas of law. Many of the court's decisions incorporated highly controversial policies, including the approval of security package laws. The Buddhist Freedom Party entering the elections was unconstitutional, effectively removing the Buddhist identity from politics. As a staunch establishment supporter, he represents the majority of the Supreme Court, and he is regarded by some as the most powerful and divisive figure in Swordfish politics. They're banned from politics. Oh, were they like tied to... Is this like a minority party? Or like is this like a minority people? BFP was formed in 1904 as a political party representing the many Bluish people living in southern Switzerland and campaigned heavily for minority rights. Well, we have the fucking... We have like our own like Irish people that were like... What? They were expected to be elected as the main opposition party, which was cancelled after General Luke Darren executed a military coup and suspended the constitution. 1930 Isam incident, which triggered the reformation of the first Bluish resistance movement called Bluish Freedom Front, inspired many Bluish people to join their ranks. Among them were ex-members of the BFP, which prompted attacks from the government. Following the terrorist attacks organized by the BFF, Tarkensol accused BFP of supporting them and banned the party out of politics in 1933. Bluish representation has been absent from politics since then, until the founding of the Workers' Party of Bloody in 1940. What was this? Bloody protest. The Sol Dam project, which was proposed as a long-term solution to Bergia's and Swordland's energy problem, began its construction. The construction site was home to an old Buddhist village called Ism, which was planned to be evacuated and razed to open the way for the dam. The arrival of the construction workers to the site led to a series of protests by the local populace. The protesters managed to block the construction and continue the protest for 10 days. On the 7th day, a group of military personnel arrived at the scene as a reaction to the protest's increasing size. On the 10th day of the protest, a village elder named Watani Ashraf was shot by one of the soldiers that caused the protest to turn violent. According to the Radical, the entire group of protesters were killed that day by the group of soldiers who were ordered by Tarkensol himself to make sure the construction was underway. Consequently, Ism was razed and the construction of the dam started soon after. This event led to a period of protests and riots in the region of Bergia. To suppress the riots, the state reacted by taking drastic measures, which included one of the most controversial of Tarkensol's decisions that resulted in the persecution of thousands of Bluish people. Calling the event the Bluish Genocide, a group of Bluish nationalists established a militant resistance movement called the Bluish Freedom Front. In the aftermath of the incident, the BFF has orchestrated attacks against the Swordfish police forces and state buildings in major cities, starting a new period of bloodshed in the region. It was declared as a terrorist organization by the government later in the same year. Every year, the Remembrance Day of Ashraf's death is widely attended by the Bluish people who treat it as part of their identity. Others use it as a symbol of separatist sentiment. Oh, that's fucked up. Okay. I got there from this guy, so... So this guy was also... Jesus, man. What's wrong with these people? Court also has the final say over constitutional legislation. Without their approval, we cannot even change it. I mean, I don't want to get rid of checks and balances. I'm trying to think long term here, but also, you know, fucking, I don't know. I agree, the old guard won't like this. They'll fuck the old guard. A comprehensive reform that would make the reformers happy would mean maintaining a balance between all branches of the government, which means removing your absolute veto as well. The reformists demand that all loopholes in the Constitution are closed. I mean, I don't know if I think absolute vetoes on any branch of the government are even like a good idea, right? Like, that's kind of fucking insane. We can't underestimate the situation. Can't figure it out. We can figure it out. Our party still holds 130 out of 250 seats in the assembly. We've got the power. However, to reform the Constitution, we must receive a 2/3 majority vote, okay, in the Grand National Assembly, which is 166 votes, and a simple majority in the Supreme Court that equates to 6. After we have settled on how to proceed, we will need to talk with our party figures. Our first goal must be to get the 150 signatures needed to start the process. Following the green light from the USP, we will reach out to the other party leaders to see if they would back our draft. The last step is to convince the justices of the court. The entire process will take a long time, but we must start working with the reform committee to evaluate all possibilities for a new construction as soon as possible. More democratic solution with the reformists. The new constitution should give the president wide-ranging power. We could work with the... no, let's just do that. That's what we've been preparing for internally. Don't forget that promise is what got us elected. The key thing here will be strengthening the power of the assembly, which we already lead with a majority. Yes, the divisions of power need to be rebalanced for a better Swordland. According to the initial draft we made with the reformists, there are 2 changes to the Constitution that are not open for their discussion. First, the Supreme Court will no longer vote on constitutional amendments. Second, the president's absolute veto will be taken away. This can be replaced with a limited veto system by fixing the current loopholes. Why is there no, like, one but the other? I don't know if, like, vote on constitutional amendments. Like, they should have a say, right? But I also don't like having, I mean, fuck it. Yes, sir. We will form a reform committee together with all parties and start reaching out to all the stakeholders in the assembly and the court for a new constitution. By later in the year, we should have an idea of the reform contents and what the other parties want. Another important point, we must be aware of the Lotharberg Group. The oligarchs convene under this organization to influence economic policies. Conrath led it for a long time before falling ill. The new leader is Mr. Walter Tusk. Oh. Currently, the spokesman is Walter Tusk. A vague structure, limited leadership roles, where the spokesman is considered to be the de facto leader of the entity. The group convenes every 3 months at Hotel Berg in the village of Lothar. Held in secret, reported the top economy. Walter Tusk, millionaire businessman, investor, and the current spokesperson. He owns the Economist Group. Publishes the Thing. Okay, I don't like this guy immediately. Evil motherfucker. The term oligarchs in the context of Swordland refers to a select group of individuals who, through strategic acquisition of state assets during periods of privatization, have amassed significant wealth and control over extensive industrial networks. Elites, characterized by their economic influence, often emerge from economic liberalization periods, seizing the opportunity to purchase public assets at significantly reduced prices. Several oligarchs are known to be affiliated with prominent groups such as the Lotharberg Group and the National Business Council, further solidifying their influence in both economic and political spheres. However, their reach extended beyond Swordland's borders, as they frequently engage in foreign direct investments, thereby securing their financial interests over an international scale. Despite their affluence within Swordland, the oligarchs' precise role and influence within the nation's political and economic framework remain subjects of ongoing debate. Their ability to manipulate economic levers and shape policy decisions underscores their substantial sway over the nation's trajectory, yet their propensity for foreign investments indicates a broader vision, one that acknowledges the importance of international economic interconnectivity. This duality is at the heart of understanding the role of oligarchs in modern Swordland. Okay, I feel like I get it. Evil motherfuckers. As members of the National Business Group Council are in their pockets, Tusk and the group will surely try to bribe us in exchange for special economic protections. I won't be bought. We won't let these privileged, greedy, and snobby capitalists run the country? Fuck yeah, brother. Let's not underestimate their influence. These are not harmless people either. As far as I know, Marcel Caronti has some strong ties to this group, but his influence could definitely be an asset for us, but I'm sure he'll want something in return. Philanthropist, entrepreneur, advertising company. Okay, so he can put a good spin on stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna say they can't move a finger without us. They can fuck us. They're the ones with factories and shit. They're the ones who actually manage logistics. Ugh, sure. Looks like the lesser evil, but it could very quickly turn out to be the other way around. We need to tread carefully on all sides with all power players to survive our term. I need to underline the seriousness of the situation. The military and the general staff are a powerful element in the state, and as history tells us, a dangerous one too. We do have some room to make structural changes by reducing their budget, for example, but it is quite limited. I can't wait for me to just get invaded by somebody too. I've cut the budget for the military. We've mothballed all of our fucking tanks, and I don't even know planes exist in this fucking universe. And then suddenly we're getting invaded, and it's like, well, shit. I guess I'm just getting deposed. Like, fucking damn, man. Oh. I don't want to die in prison just like Arturus Wissy did. We should do something drastic. I mean, I don't want to die in prison. Who is this guy? Swordist revolutionary, author, and politician, and the founder of the Republic of Swordland, who served as the first president. His brief leadership modernized Swordland into a secular, democratic republic. He was imprisoned by General Suzerain after a military coup in 1927, and died tragically in prison when the building was set on fire during the Civil War in 1928. Century of revolutions. Becoming an influential revolutionary figure in the country. That doesn't sound too bad. Defense Minister Joseph Lancey is more loyal to us compared to General Kruger. This guy looks like a pig. A fact that obviously can change with our actions. Either way, I see a potential rift in between the two since they are clearly on different minds. Swordist national security professional who serves as the Minister of Defense and Security of Swordland. He has been a member of the United States. Okay. He was a captain. Four-star general. He's like a war hawk. Chomping at the bit. Champing at the bit or whatever. He supported General Luderin's military coup, but later turned against him after Luderin's mass executions. He was among the group of officers who organized under Colonel Sol in the Swordist Civil War. Brigadier General, Swordist General Staff. All the brigade destroyed an entire rebel army in the Battle of Suzerain. He was later awarded with the White Star. We actually alliance military. Both of those guys will unite against us. I agree, Lucian. We need to tread carefully here. Well then, gentlemen, precisely 30 minutes. This concludes our political briefing for today. Our next meeting will be about our media strategy. Talk to you soon, sir. I will keep in touch. See you both at the next meeting. Farewells and last. A mysterious amount of smoke was rising far away on the horizon. Yo, I got some whiskey. Oh my god, it's an actual like 3D object. Earlery Maroni, sword whiskey, LD30 car, Earlery Maroon. 30 years ago, 30 years aged, a bottle of pure harmony. Each sip unfolds layers of complex flavors, transporting one to the serene highland. Sword. Cool. Cool. President Cheap. Alright. That was a lot. There's a lot of shit going on. Policies. Oh. What? Special zone? Dude, what are we doing to these people? Where is Bergia? What's going on here? Ronia. Vika. This whole area, what is happening? I'm from this place, man. These are my people. I mean, they're getting fucking genocided. Oh, all right. Read the briefing on the current economic situation. Simon Hull, Gus Manger, and Lilius Graf were about to arrive. Okay. Two assistants arrived first, carrying a projector. In the hallway, I heard Lilius Graf's voice. She was using the patient, almost motherly tone she often took in heated arguments. Gus, do you really think that such an economically advanced area is more in need of investment than Angland? Agenland? Lilius, my interior minister, strode in. She was clad in shades of brown and beige, the only spot of color a bright yellow Dasnerist cross on her necklace. Gus followed close behind her. I mean, idiot, Lilius. What about the unemployment crisis the greater Holsword and Gelsland regions are going through? These areas are our economic heartland. Gus curled his hands into a fist. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development's temper hadn't changed since his days in the Alfonso administration, but neither had his reputation for getting things done. His far-reaching network of connections was unlike any other. Simon Hull quickly stepped between the two ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. Good morning, Mr. President. What is this debate about? Just a disagreement in internal economic strategy, President Rain. Not sure if I would call it just a disagreement, Lilius. You lying to me, Gus? This graph seeks to focus our economic development in a region where we can't reap the financial benefits. Business leaders are requesting better logistical links in order to contribute to the economy more. A wise idea if your main agenda is to make money instead of developing the region and serving the people. Liz, could you elaborate? Of course, this argument is simple. Eigenland is our weakest region both in terms of economic and social support. We should support the city of Arvery and its respected mayor. How impartial can you really be? What are your thoughts, Simon? I have to say that I agree with both of them. Eigenland is in need of investment and we can improve greater whole sorting in Gelsland. I want to avoid this topic now since we will talk about it in the future. I would rather first fully brief you on our current economic situation. Simon pulled a silk handkerchief out of his pocket and briefly wiped his glasses. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of... He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants by the door, both of whom were now visibly struggling to hold up the heavy projector. Oh, you can put that there. He pointed below the painting of President Sol. The assistants placed the projector next to the table and installed a white screen on the wall. Leave now. I mean, thank you. Please leave now. Assistants left the cabinet room. I was reminded that Simon had never quite had a way with people. His facility with numbers had made him the most sought-after economic specialist in Swordland. Simon started looking for his slides. He always carried documentation around with him. Wait. Julius leaned to the table and spoke. Simon, what happened to the new police station constructed in Esterd? Oil-rich city. Multiple wars. Destruction of the city several times over. We are gonna go to war. I'm gonna die in like a fucking decapitation strike blowing up the Maroon Palace. While going through his briefcase, he paused for a moment to answer. It got stalled due to a government property boundary issue. I have been meaning to look at it. I can take a look at that one. Estor needs all the security help we can get. Sure, more time for me to spend on analyses. His eyes glittered when he finally found the slides he would look. There have been some developments about the Swordish Ren losing further value today. We have been trying to stabilize it with the central bank. The recession of 51 put enormous pressure on the economy, resulting in the collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was a cause of concern for our administration. What would you like to know about the current economic situation? What's our employment and inflation rate? Unemployment has skyrocketed, is now at a staggering 16%, and the inflation is a relative high of 10%. Brother, what? Oh my god, what was unemployment at in the fucking 2008 recession? %10 is fucking insane, dude. I was like a kid then. How old was I in 2008? That was 16 years ago. I was 11. Yeah, I was a kid still. Unemployment is increasing crime and drug use. We need to get people off the streets. The inflation isn't helping our average citizen either. What's our GDP and debt situation? Current GDP is 310 billion Swedish krona, and the national debt is 400. Oh my god. It's hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth. That past 3 years were tough. That's the recession. The economy has been in recession of about -6% in the past year. The average GDP has dropped from 15,454 per capita to 10,000 from 1951 and now. This administration's success depends on our ability to stop the recession. The sooner we can reach GDP growth, the better. I have all the information needed. Let's move on to the economic strategy. Simon scattered the paper stack in front of him in an orderly manner and took a final look at his notes before clearing his throat. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. The extensive privatization program of Alfonso has left a large budget surplus which can be used to stabilize the crisis. Oh, 1 second. Okay, hang on. All right. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. The extensive privatization program of Alfonso and key foreign direct investments left us a large budget surplus, which we can use to stabilize the crisis. Oh, Jesus, man. This primary subject we need to settle on is what general path we will take in our terms. Solonomics-based nationalization happened in the 30s, and Alfonso's privatization began during the end of the 40s. What will our administration focus on? One of the main promises was to promote a planned economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I still don't think that was a good idea. We shouldn't go back to Solonomics. It is the reason of the recession. Self-sufficiency will help us in tough times. I agree with this. There's a fair argument to be made, but if we reduce the freedom of people in the marketplace in general, it would hinder our innovation and dynamism in the supply and demand. Dude, the fucking economy is owned by like a group of dudes. Like, I don't really give a shit. I don't think the average person gives a shit. The average person gives a shit that they're losing their job and inflation went up by 10% and now everything's fucking expensive. That's what they give a shit about. Innovation and dynamism. They don't give a shit about that, man. They want to have a fucking job and make some money. Say what you will about Alfonso. Without his attempts, our current coffers would be empty and the recession would be a depression. I mean, yeah, I fucking get that. One way to be remembered positively is to cause a recession and leave a few bills behind. True. Structural problems of Solonomics were going to lead to a recession according to the predictions at the time anyway. Either way, even if we pick one of the doctrines, we retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis. That is, however, not recommended in my point of view. The last thing we need is chaotic economic plan. Finally, something we can both agree on. There is another important point which has a direct impact on our economy. Superpowers! Woo! I love dealing with foreign policy. Might have won the election, but I'm still against aligning ourselves with the superpowers. Economically speaking, we aren't as tied to United Contana as we are to Arcasia, so a decision to align to the east is much more difficult to accomplish. We must be very cautious. There are schemes being devised about Swordland. We cannot give in to their wants now or in the future, otherwise our country will turn into a pawn. Now we need to reconsider your promise to align with United Contana. I didn't even pick the option that said... Did I say that I would do that? I guess I did say I would align with the East, but I didn't say in my fucking speech, bro. I mean, man, I don't really give a shit. I made a promise to the people. I must also insist, nothing good will come out of siding with United Contana. Aligning will make us our adversaries, our customers. Although not for the same reason, there's two things we are agreeing on today, Gus. When the time comes, I hope we make the right decision for our own good. We should attract more foreign direct investment. Mr. President, we saved the country with full-on depression in 52 and 53 by signing lucrative trade deals with nations such as Rizia, Lesbian, Canal. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Mr. Wissy will be in charge of informing you on those types of foreign policy decisions. We must first decide on our internal economic plan. Legal document outlining... Okay, doctrines. Would a planned economy focus bring us stronger allies? What the fuck? What's on our long-term economic schedule? Making construction company, trade relations, tax reform, and welfare privatization or nationalization issues will be some of them. We should wisely remember that the free market economy in all forms is the future of the world. I wouldn't be so sure. We're going planned economy. Precisely the reason why we should stick to the old system. State planning arrangements both showed great success in the 30s, only for a limited time until even Tarkensul himself discovered the limits of the system. Slowdown began during this rule. Remember... Move on. I don't care about allies. Sorry, messaging someone. What are your final thoughts, Mr. President? Critical institutions must retain and state control. We must be fully responsible in delivering services. Fuck privatization. Market doesn't require as much guidance and fuck that. Is no. Give me state control. You could be, and it wouldn't be negative, but either way, you make the choices. So what will our general economic plan promote? Plan the economy as we promised. Not sure if we made the right decision here. Listen, man, I'm set up to fail from the beginning. Now that there is clarity on which direction we are heading, I will work on a good plan accordingly. This concludes our meeting. At our next gathering, we will talk about the upcoming infrastructure investment plan. Jesus, man. Oh my god. Nargis. Agenland. This is, what is this? Like Latin. What's next? Media strategy. Okay, it's 10:30. I need to fucking take a break, man. Save. Is there just like a save? Well, I guess it just saves, so it's fine. Main menu, please. This is a cool game. I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to politics and economy and shit, like economics and shit, right? I didn't study any of that shit, all right? I have only what scattered bits of information I have picked up over the past, I don't even know, like, 10 plus years of consciousness. So I can't wait to drive this shit into the fucking into the shitter. I'm gonna ruin this country somehow. Things will go bad. Nothing like this ever ends correctly. So. But hey, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll just come out on top and the people will be happy.